This is how you come down.
Going all right, cool. All right, so what are we talking about today, Steve? Because I love talking to you. It's always there's always something crazy. I believe in this stuff 100%. I'm in all the way. Cryptids, Bigfoot, rakes, the whole thing, aliens. I don't know if they're fallen angels. I'm still 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that. Nephilim, 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that. I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to figure this out. I just had John Pounders on talking about the fallen and the bloodlines. There's just so much more to this than we even know. And the reason I like to talk to you about this because you're up there in Canada, you're in the woods, you're in the mountains, you track wildlife, you hunt wildlife, big game. Dude, I mean, you're the guy to talk to. And you have an awesome channel on YouTube. Folks, if you haven't seen his channel, it's Steve How to Hunt on YouTube, and it's awesome. I watch a lot of your videos, dude. I'm a fan.
Right on, man. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know where we start. I mean, I think we usually start off by just explaining my position on it, but I think everybody's probably up to speed. I'm not a Bigfoot guy. I don't have Bigfoot shit all over the house. I'm not a researcher, dude. It's just that I've had this reality slammed in my face, and that's all she wrote. Just like you, as soon as you know truth, well, I'm not going to change the truth because you can't handle it, and you're going to laugh.
Right.
There isn't a human
Right.
being laugh my story different. So, anyways, moving along. The proof's in, the proof's out. That's been covered. That's done. That's a long time ago. I think the most confusing part right now with human beings, right? The most confusing part for me right now is human beings.
They're hairy human beings. That's the way you look at them. So you don't look at them like they're demonic. You don't look at them as I guess what I mean. They're not apes. Are they? You look at them as a human being. You look at them as an intelligent human species. Correct. You don't even look at them like a chimpanzee,
God, no.
a gorilla, nothing like that. You're looking at them like on par with us or even more advanced.
They know how to pull off some shit that we can't wrap our brains around.
Explain.
You know what? Here's some what man. Where to start? It's been such a long, crazy ride. Didn't ask for it. We're both truth speakers. It's almost tough for me to stay on topic with all the other truth going on the planet that we're both very well aware of, right? Now I haven't watched that segment you just posted, but I almost did, and I'm going to shortly because I have a couple other individuals who have spent 30 years diving deep into that topic you spoke about with your guest.
John Pounders, yeah, with about the Nephilim, the fallen.
Yeah, and everything seems to, I mean, I don't want it to go in any direction myself. I don't give a shit. I'm just following the direction everything leads. You know what I mean? I'm not choosing.
100%.
I'm not favoring. I don't need or want this topic to go in any direction. I follow where it is going. So far, that theme seems to be the only one that seems to fit the best so far.
Nephilim.
Right? Biblical, call it whatever you want, but unfortunately, you can't even make up. If you had to sit here and just make up a theory for what's going down, you can't. It's impossible. It's too hard. But anyway, moving along, I'll tell you what we do know 100% for certain right now, okay? And remember I told you I was coming down south, and I did go south, and I went to Alabama, and I was going to make it over to the scientist and you. I got both my eyes infected when I was in Alabama, ripping around at nighttime in the bayou, or whatever you want to call it. Absolutely gonged me and cut me short, so I had to come home. But I also had a gut feeling I had to come home as well, because now I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. What have you heard about the skills, the things that these people can do? What have you heard?
Disappear, invisibility, telepathic. They're obviously into arts and crafts because they leave little trinkets and shit around people's campsites. Some of them seem to be
yet.
Some of them seem to be rogue. Some of them, I feel like they're humans, and some of them lose their mind. They don't seem to like humans. I think they are more scared of us than we are of them. They're just so elusive to be so huge. They're so huge, but so elusive. I've seen video of them tracking. Well, you've showed me video of them tracking up a mountain that looks like it was going almost 50 miles an hour up a mountain. I mean, I don't know how you explain that.
Well,
The stride is just is it's a long gait. They
and
seem to be able to break. They have supernatural power. They're able to break trees in half with one arm and then throw the fucking tree. So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, from what I see is how is something so huge so elusive unless they have capabilities and technologies that we don't. And I think they're almost could they be off planet? Were they indigenous to this planet? Do they not want us here? Are we the ones that are just renting space? There's a lot of things that come into my mind
Oh.
with these beings.
But I think at least the one for certain common ground is accepting the knowledge is available now. Accepting. It's not really a belief, it's just accepting what is going down.
I think disclosure is happening like it is right now. Drip, 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 drop, 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 and then floodgates open. It's never going to be. I mean, you have the hearings happening with the government where they come out saying, "Oh, the UFOs, this and that," but that's only because the government wants control over it, so they can play this alien card. But I think the true disclosure is happening right now, all over YouTube, all over videos, all over trail cams. That's really how this stuff's getting out. If you look for it, it's there.
Well,
You see it everywhere.
yeah. Disclosure is coming with a lot of shit right now. Like it's
What is?
just disclosure is coming with a lot.
Yeah.
It's just snowballing, snowballing. What should we do? What I wanted to do was I received an email, and as you know, I've received since I came forward publicly on my channel, which was popular. My name is popular in the hunting community for years, and then I just got tired of being bugged about this topic. Come on, man, you got to know something. And then I finally came forward, and then I realized just how many people are scared of the human herd to share what they saw without asking. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. You got something you want to share and you don't want to do it? I'll do it for you. Send it to me. And then it went absolutely apeshit. I think probably I lost count at 20,000 emails over a year ago, and they come in every single day from around the globe, right?
Wow. So you get emails every day on this topic of people that have firsthand experiences.
Every day.
You actually know of some people that study these creatures though, okay, I could be wrong here. Correct me here. That live with them.
Do I know people who live with them? No.
Okay. So that's someone else that told me that then. So there's a person that did tell me that there's a tribe. I'm sure you're not the one that told me this in Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan.
The Squatchy.
What's it called, dude? Saskatchewan, whatever. They go up there, and there's a certain tribe of Indians that take their adolescent boys up there to learn from them.
No way.
And and they learn, and they there's these caverns that they migrate through that go to different parts of the planet, but they bring these Bigfoot or Yeti presents, and then the Yeti exchange knowledge with them, and then they stay for a couple hours and they leave.
Haven't heard that yet myself.
Okay. Well, now I don't remember who told me that. I'll find out. I'll try to remember who told me that. I thought it was you. All right, go on.
That's a pretty bold statement, though. You know what I mean? For wherever it originated from, that's a pretty bold statement. Like
I could have swore it was from you, dude. But if it's, then again, I've been punched in the head how many times?
Yeah,
so I got to figure out where this came from. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure. But somebody made a bold statement like that. They have some receipts.
Right. Correct. And I'm gonna find out who it is.
Yeah, it's like
when I thought it was you. I thought it was you, but
no.
I talked to a lot of people about this stuff, but all right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So let me just read this email so I can give everybody an example of what comes in. All right. Okay. And you can times this email by, I don't know, probably 30,000. And that's just people who've got the balls to come forward. Now listen to this one. You wouldn't believe it. Still today, I think I've been doing this for 5 years. Still today, people email me weekly, and I'll get the email that starts off with, okay, I'm finally willing to do it. I'm finally going to share it. Like who knows how many people are sitting there watching my channel thinking, okay, this week I'm going to do it. And then they just can't do it. It takes a lot.
Why?
Oh no, it takes a lot of guts for these
But
people.
you don't say their names or anything. You don't disclose their names. I mean, you
No.
respect them at that level. So why are they scared?
I think it just they're having such a tough time dealing with what they went through. And sometimes it's just from seeing one. That's all it takes to absolutely imagine being some typical inner city person that doesn't have a frickin' clue what's going on in the real world. And all of a sudden you go for a little trip to Yellowstone, and here's this 10-foot tall, 4 foot wide at the shoulders, hair covered, man-like thing stooping over looking at you through the windshield of the car.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I don't.
Your whole world.
I
Your
don't know
whole
what you
world.
do.
Now what do you do? You're not gonna go to anyway. So let me backpedal here. This is a classic, and it just came in, and I believe it's from a military guy. All right. Now listen up, and then we'll carry on from here because I have some interesting shit for updates on people who know, and I'm gonna share with what we know now. All right. Now listen to this. This is a typical email. And like you said, I don't share the names. If somebody says, please don't share my name, okay, I got you. I won't share your name. Other people say, I don't give a shit. I've been using my name all my life. Go ahead and scream it. So this is titled My Sasquatch Experience. All right. Hello, Steve. Please don't share my name. I am blank blank. Due to my ongoing connection with the Marine Corps, although I'm no longer active duty, I still help instruct potential recruits in explosives. I'm not sure what they are, but my encounter happened in 2013 after my injury due to a roadside IED in 2010. After I recovered from my physical injuries, I needed to work on my mental state. So, a friend that lived in Washington State invited me to come up and stay in a cabin his family had for many years. It was near Whidbey Island, and he said, quote, I thought jokingly, end quote, just don't mind the big guy. You should be fine. No one has seen him since my grandfather. I laughed it off, thinking he was referring to some nearby neighbor his grandfather might have had some sort of problem with, but either moved away or passed away due to him stating it was a long ago. Little did I know what pure horror awaited me. I settled in the 2-room cabin that first week with no problems. I enjoyed the privacy, the remoteness it afforded me. It allowed me to decompress without having to deal with crowds, which I still couldn't be around at that time in my life. After being there for about 2 weeks, I decided to start exploring the beautiful landscape and forest. I woke to a beautiful morning that third week and headed out for a short explore. But I found myself about 2 miles away from the cabin. You know that feeling of what's over the next hill? Well, that's what drove me on that morning. After noticing just how far I'd gotten from the cabin, I took a bearing on my compass and started back towards the cabin. And just after I started down this pretty steep hill, which led me down into a narrow valley with a small creek at the base, I made it to the creek, crossed it, after slipping off a rock with my right leg right into the creek, soaking my boot. I always carry an extra pair of socks. One of many good lessons the Corps taught me. Wet feet grows blisters, among other things. Anyway, I found a nearby stump and sat down to retrieve my dry socks from my day pack. I changed my socks without difficulty and stood up to continue my hike back to the cabin. As I bent over to pick up my pack, I heard what I thought was a deer blowing at me. As I stood up to locate the deer blowing at me, my eye line scanning at 4 to 5 feet ground level, I seen this reddish brown object beside a Douglas fir tree. Not understanding yet what I was looking at, I struggled to understand what I was seeing. Scanning the ruffle, the 5-foot eye level, scanning the ruffle, 5-foot eye level upwards, I suddenly noticed what was unmistakably a hand and an arm. A rather large hand and arm. And before I could train my eyes any higher, this thing stepped out in full view. And what stood before me was something my brain just couldn't comprehend. My mind rushed through a catalog of what it could possibly be, but it was simply massive. Its shoulders were every bit of 5 feet across. It stood at least 9 feet tall, if not 10. Its arms led to massive hands, and I finally locked eyes. We locked eyes. His face was massive, just as every single part of him was, but his eyes They were black. His brow was large. His nose was flattened somewhat, more wider than flattened. I can't express in words just how massive he was. No bodybuilder held a candle to him. He stepped forward carefully. Not a full step, only a partial step. And although his partial would have been more like 2 of my full steps, to say I was scared simply isn't adequate. I was horrified beyond words. His hands gripped into fists. His eyes, black at first, literally turned into red light in front of my eyes. Said about 5,000 people. That's just from me. But anyways, he was within 40 feet of me. I was carrying a 9mm with me on a side holster. I never once considered drawing it. I knew without a doubt it would not help me in the least. An overwhelming feeling came over me to announce my intentions to him. And this wasn't mind speak. It was more like an impression. Not mine, but his. It's so hard to put into words. But all I know and can say to describe it is to say it was an overwhelming feeling, and it wasn't from me, but from him. I knew without any hesitation it was coming from him. So I did as I was introduced to do and announced my intentions to him. There's a couple typos in here probably.
Okay.
As soon as I did this, he relaxed his fists and shoulders, and his brows eased also. Then this massive caps lock man turned and walked away, and he didn't run, but his stride was unreal. And although he walked upright like us, there was something different. Can't put it into words, but it was strange. My heart was still beating so hard and fast, I believed it was going to burst out of my chest. But I got this impression, not my imagination, but his, that I was going to be okay. And again, it wasn't mind speak, but an impression. It was like a feeling. Also, his chest wasn't fully covered in hair. Yes, he had hair in his chest, but it wasn't as dense as his chest, as his head and arms and legs. Also, his hands weren't completely covered in hair. They were slightly hairy. His hands, his palms, were like ours, completely void of hair, but massive. His fingers were long and very large in diameter. His arms came past his waist, with his hands coming to almost his knees. His back was extremely wide, and what neck he might have had wasn't noticeable very much, and his butt was also big. I can't forget his eyes changing from pure black to red within a blink of an eye, and then returning to that black void once he was satisfied with my, well, emotion, intentions, and feelings. That's the only way I can put into words what I experienced. Sorry. Words simply fail to describe the experience of receiving the intense impressions I received from him. I don't know how to describe it any other way. I have no doubt whatsoever if I had faltered in any way in either my real intentions, which I have no doubts he could read, or voicing my intentions out loud, he would have no problem tearing me limb from limb. And in the effort to describe both his and my interactions, I failed to tell you what I said to him out loud in my inner intentions. I simply said, I mean you no harm. The sidearm is simply something I've carried my entire career. It's simply a habit to carry it. That's exactly what I said through my verbal words, and my feelings or intentions was just that. There was no way to fake those. I wasn't hunting him or anything else that day. I was simply enjoying the beautiful scenery, landscape, forest that day. I'm not sure what others have experienced. I only know what I experienced that day. That day changed my life in ways that's even hard to put into words. All the combat that I experienced doesn't come close to utter fear I felt standing before him. The power of him was felt in every fiber in my body and soul. He exuded a power that's impossible to put into words. It took me 5 years of watching your channel to finally write you and tell my experience. Thanks for what you're doing. That day changed me in ways I'm still discovering. I do know beyond a doubt that you have a very important role in all this whole process, and I'm not totally sure in what ways yet, but somehow I'm positive. It's certainty I somehow am absolutely positive on. I know you've already done great things and works on your channel, your honesty, your humanity, but that's more. But there's more, and I'm not sure what that is, but I'm positive it's inevitable. God bless to you and your works. Thank you. And there's the closing. So there you go.
So do you think their eyes turn red because they can see like an infrared or something? They can see in a different light spectrum. Like, I mean, they're also capable of making themselves invisible, correct?
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on that too from what's come to light as well, what people know. But the eye changing color thing, I haven't a clue. I do know 100% fact from the U.S. Forces pilot who they tracked one in Afghanistan, but they put their IR beam on it. By the time the IR beam hit it, the beam, the pilot said, is around roughly 8 by 12 rectangle. And when the IR light hit that sucker, it acted as if it was getting its eyeballs blasted out of its head, where we can't see that light. So is that some kind of relation to why his eyes can turn red? I don't know. But then I've also heard from many people that the red eyes is a change in their demeanor, which kind of makes sense. But the red eye thing, it's hard for your average human to wrap your new noggin around that. But when it gets reported thousands of times from around the globe, you better start listening, no matter how.
But there's no other animal that does that. There's no ape or, you know, uh, species that I know of that do that. Maybe some kind of uh, dark underwater ocean type of fish species, maybe that glows and does that. I don't know. I can't think of any animal.
In the reptile world, there's a lot of lizards and stuff, and chameleons that can change their skin tone to match the
Right, but your eyes from going black to red, that almost seems demonic to me.
Yeah, right. But
I just, and then if you add into the equation all the national park disappearances, I
well,
mean, are they from them? I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there in the national parks, dude, that I, I don't even like. Look, I'll go camping with you, bro, because I trust you, except for the gerbil story.
unless
But
you see a gerbil cage in my background. I just got to get one more thing before we leave the truck, Nino.
so I don't know, man. I just think that could there be some of them that go rogue and go after people?
Yeah.
I mean, highly intelligent species. I mean, they can go crazy, and they probably get sick of us going out to the forest and camping and leaving all our crap everywhere and dirtying the place and cutting down trees. And I mean, seriously, all we're doing is making a mess and destroying their habitat.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling they don't give a flying shit about the habitat, and I don't think it affects them in any way myself. And that's
Okay.
only because, as an example, I live on Vancouver Island currently, just moved back here, and Vancouver Island in the late 80s was on the cover of Time magazine as the worst example of clear-cut logging in the world. So, if they had some time to get pissed off and about something, they would have been putting us like people say, "Oh, they protect the forest." Epic fail if that's their job, because no,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
not protecting shit. So that tells
But
me,
maybe they don't reside here, man. I mean, a lot of times they're seen with UFOs. A lot of times there's orbs that are seen with them, correct?
100%. There's no denying it. There's tens of thousands of freaking reports of that alone, right? And it's all from around the globe, from people not connected. I got scientists, military, you name it, every flavor of human being background, professional background, they have wrote in what they saw and what they know. Um, but I gotta get back to this one other point I was gonna make. Besides their habitat, this has nothing to do with the natural habitat. It would if they were a gorilla and orangutan for sure. That would make sense. But no, the us destroying the habitat is out the door. That has shit to do with this. Not a frickin' well. I'm not going to dictate. I should always say, for me, I'm 100% convinced it's nothing to do with the habitat. No way. When people say, "Oh, they don't want to acknowledge it because parks and logging will come to an absolute halt." No, it won't. That's got shit to do with this topic. Maybe about 40 years ago, people might have thought that and made sense. Not today. So anyway, yeah, there is a shit pile of incidences with lights, craft in the sky, orbs. Whoever first come up with the name orb, I just say bright lights myself, but an orb, portals. There's forest scientists watched one come out of a bright light, which they called a portal at that skinwalker.
So they're interdimensional.
Sure, yeah, but where's that dimension? That's the big question. Where is it?
So these things are more like Chewbacca, dude.
Yeah, no.
I mean, so let's think about this for a second. They always hide things out in the open in movies. Was Chewbacca actually like a Bigfoot?
Yeah, well, there's a hairy thing in Bugs Bunny, right? There's the big hairy thing, and then the red eyes. And ever since we were kids, our classic monster in comic books or movies is always has the red eyes, big and muscular, right? Red eyes, big
Right.
muscular is our fabled evil dude. But anyway, listen to this. So, getting back to the knowledge we know, what I've accepted as truth because I have to. I got no choice. Um, I know a guy, I trust him in my life. He's on the Sunshine Coast, just up from Vancouver, BC, right? And they're watching this thing in a night vision scope. They're watching this thing. It's like 40 feet from him. He said it's about 4.5 feet across his shoulders in the night vision scope, right? This thing goes like this and ducks, disappears behind an 8-inch wide tree. Huh?
Yeah. No.
What? How do you even come up with a guess on how that's going down? But anyway, moving along. Now, another guy, I forget his name. My name always blanks when I need to come up with a, my mind blanks when I need to come up with a name sometimes. Anyway,
Welcome to my world.
right? So anyway, this guy, get this one. Now, there has been hundreds of experiences where people found their handprints on their vehicle, okay? Or on the window of a house. Nearly 100% of those people also say when they touched it, it was like a greasy substance. It was very greasy, their handprint, okay? Now follow me. Now this other guy found some of their hair, which has been done literally. There's literally hundreds of hair samples with follicles from these people. Now,
and they've done DNA analysis on them, right?
they've done it. Not everybody's done it. That's almost like it's old school now. The scientific community will not allow it to be acknowledged. That's as far as the DNA goes. But when you're talking to the people, it's original human, female, no male. But anyways, getting back to my point being made. So now we've got disappearing behind a tree, right?
So hold on, wait 1 second.
Yeah.
The mitochondria is female.
Yeah.
Which could mean the fallen angels that have come here and mated with the human female, right?
Well, it fits with the Bible, right?
It fits with it, dude. It fits with the Bible right there, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Now listen to this. As we try to wrap our minds around how they're pulling this shit off, this guy gets I don't know how this guy come up with it. Gets a handful of the hair with the follicle, okay? Puts it in a petri dish. Squeeze the follicle. This greasy liquid substance fills the hair and starts, coming out of the pores of the hair. Charged it with an electromagnetic field, went translucent.
Whoa. So whatever's in those follicles are what's able to make them go invisible.
With an electromagnetic charge. Do you know what I mean? You know, you got people still staring at fucking footprints. Well, we need proof. You better catch up. You better catch up, people, because now we got people communicating with these people, and we've got the hair proven that it goes translucent with an electromagnetic charge. I think we're way beyond footprints.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's just what we know. Now, what about the dark sons of bitches that allegedly possibly know it all? What do they know? But anyway, so that's interesting, right? But that does coincide with, and it fits with these, quote, greasy-like substance where it touched our window. The grease part. That's been out for a long time. And now this guy recently pulls this shit off in a petri dish. And electromagnetic, God, what's the word? You know, not like a Geiger counter, but the same thing for
radiation. I don't know.
Those things go off when you're in the presence of these beings. Electromagnetic.
So the Geiger, if you have a Geiger counter, you can detect a Bigfoot.
Well, it's like a Geiger counter, but it's for electromagnetic.
Okay. I know, like what they do for ghost hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah, and those scientists, the nuclear scientists, told me that's what I need in my backpack. I don't give a shit. I don't need it because I know they're out here, and I know they know I'm there. I don't need it. I don't need to guess or wonder if they're out there. I know they are. I don't carry one. But I do say out loud all the time, just leave me alone. I'm not into your ass. Leave me alone. I'm just here to hunt or fish or hike. That's just me. Now listen, now moving along. Now, one of my motivations to go to the South in the springtime was obviously to see friends, have fun, and then hook up with some people who allegedly communicate with these people. I mean, it's to the point now I refer to them as people without a doubt, but they're a different flavor of person. They're not us. They are not us. They're something else, right? But anyway, there are people communicating with them. Am I convinced of that? 150% I am. Now, And I've been wrestling with the idea of going and doing it myself because allegedly, once you allow that to go down, they come to your house and torment the shit out of you, etc., potentially at your own home, which we've had weird shit go on here already anyway. And I'm not
So
in.
once you acknowledge them, they start coming to your house.
Yeah, well, that's almost like the demonic thing. Once you allow permission to open up that door, apparently,
Yeah.
allegedly, shit goes on without your control because you just opened up that gate. Oh, that's the word on the street. I don't know
Yeah.
for certain if that's true. I don't have a clue, but I'm using a friend of mine as a test guinea pig right now because. But I remember I sent you that text.
Yeah. Yes.
That's just up here, right up here. And
Yeah.
he's just a regular dude like me. He hunts and fishes, doesn't give a shit, and he hikes into this. And I'll take it for the quick to get her bit to speed. So instead of me going to the south, meeting up with strange people I don't know, who are allegedly going to take me into the woods and introduce me to speaking to these unknown beings, and my gut at the time, but my eyes were so infected. I won't even send you the photos; it'll make you puke. But anyway, I had to go home. But my gut was also telling me that the answers I needed, I was seeking, were right here in my backyard. It turns out they are. So get this one. And I sent you that text. Buddy of mine goes up hiking into his favorite lake. At the end of the road, it's like, what is it, 5 kilometer hike in or whatever. He goes in there with his wife. They stashed a canoe in there at the lake before they deactivated the road because after logging practices, they deactivate logging roads so it'll all grow back. So they had a canoe stashed in there to leave there forever. And they use it. So they go in there. Something's banging the shit out of trees on either side of the lake, freaking him out. They left. Then he goes back in there this spring because he loves the guys. We're both out there remote steelhead fishing in our own spots all winter long and doing the same shit, right? So he goes into the lake this spring and something is making verbal, low, guttural vibrations and sounds. He can feel it. That's a classic eyewitness testimony, is feeling this shit going through your rib cage, which I haven't felt before, but apparently you can almost feel it at the zoo of the lion. So anyway, he hears that, and then they start banging on trees, and then he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. But he did have the balls to pull his phone out and hit record, and I sent you that text of him of
Oh
those
yeah.
trees
Yep.
getting banged on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
That
then
was crazy,
right?
crazy.
Now picture, guess what this dude did. So then I put that online. He's got a First Nations friend of his that he's worked with for years out there. And his friend gets a hold of him and says, well, actually, I've seen them at that lake lots of times. Seen them at the lake lots, quote, native guy, lots of times. And he's like, what? No way. Because friends, people don't bring this topic up with each other. They just,
No, you look like you're nuts.
yeah. So then they started confiding each other. And that gave my friend, he goes, well, I'm going in there. I don't give a shit. I mean, this guy goes all over BC by himself and goes into the mountains by himself hunting for years. And he also saw one over 10 years ago and had his rifle scope on it, watching it through his rifle scope, running down the side. Right? He said that thing was looking me in the eye through my scope. He said its eyes were locked on me the whole time my scope was on it as it got up and walked away from him. And he said the look on its face was old and tired and weathered. But anyway, moving along. So he's seen these things, just like I have, without asking for it while hunting in British Columbia. Seen it. He doesn't belong to any research group or bullshit. He's not a reality TV freak follower. You know, he just wants to live his life and have fun, but now he became aware of this and he's like, okay, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
So then he goes into the woods, and that's when I sent you that text of what he texted me when he
Yeah.
right? He said that he heard some knocks, heard the pounding. Two of them, these figures came in and they started communicating with him in his mind.
Oh shit.
Now, here's the difference. So I was going to go down south to the States to hook up with strangers I don't know. They claim the same thing, thinking, all right, I'll go check it out. Right. And I'll let my gut decide whether or not I'm going to go into the woods with these people once I get there and look them in the eye. But now I got somebody I trust with my life at home in my backyard that's got the same shit going on. So for me, that confirms, okay, it's fact. 110%, they are communicating. They can communicate through telepathy. For me, absolutely confirmed. Done. Okay, moving forward. I'm not going to stay there and talk about that fact alone. It's like, okay, I got it. I acknowledge it. It's true. Let's keep going. I want to know the fucking answers. I'm tired of this horse shit. I'm tired of being led in circles.
And if we can possess the same traits,
if we
it
can
seems like this stuff is hidden from us. I mean, it feels to me like maybe we could possess these same traits if we tapped into it.
you imagine if we could know people's
And that's why they're hidden from us.
how long's the list of people that don't want us to know someone's intentions?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so now he's communicating with them, and they knew who I was already. They said to him, because he in his mind he thought, I don't even know if I'm going to tell Steve. This is what he's thinking. He said that every thought he had, he got an instant answer. And he said, no, he is good. He's a protector like me, is what this person said to him in his freaking head. And then he started asking him he had other thoughts, instant answers, and then it went flatline. Now, then what did he do? Oh, he said that when they were coming in and making sounds, he went for his video camera, and then it went flatline, dead quiet. And then he put the camera down, and then he started up again. I mean, they didn't even see him. And then when he took out his iPhone, they didn't falter, and that's how he got all the audio recorded on his iPhone. And he even got the humming and the buzzing recorded on it too. I don't think he sent that to me yet. So, anyways, he wants me to. The guy went there and slept overnight in his freaking tent, and then remember the next day.
That takes balls, dude.
Oh, right. Get this one. But then I don't know if did I send you that video that he took of those bones bouncing up in the tree by that rock face.
Send it to me again. I don't remember that one.
Yeah. So
bones. I heard the knocks.
Yeah, the knocks. But then when he went back in, he found these crazy ass bones stacked. This is in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going in.
What bones were they? Obviously animal bones. They were probably what, deer bones or something like that. Not human bones, right?
What I'm thinking now, because after that trip, I'll send it to you. I got to dig. You know how our phones are loaded with shit.
Yeah, I got you.
So get this one. Then he gets home the next day, because remember my knife story about my knife showing up in my effing pack?
Yes.
Whoa. It was this one right here, right? Anyway, he gets home. I think I texted to you. And there's a freaking bear claw in tow they put in his backpack. And his backpack was hanging on the sapling right here while he was laying on his sleeping bag under a tarp, shitting himself, listening to what's going on. He got home, unpacked his day pack, and there's a bear toe and claw in his. I texted that to you, didn't I?
Yeah. They put that in his backpack.
Yeah.
To let him know they're there. Was it like a gift? Is it a gift?
I don't know, because when he videotaped, I'll send that video to you later.
It seems like it's a gift, but it's also a sense of like to show him their power. Like, hey, we can take down a bear, no problem.
Well, that's like when I lost this knife, and I lost this knife it was 7 months earlier and about 8 miles away from where I came. I went back up north, camped in a different spot, was using my backpack for like 5 days. I cleaned my backpack out 4 times since 7 months earlier. And all of a sudden, this is my pack. And then I shared that on video with everybody. And a lot of people are going, just say thank you. Just be appreciative. You know, the big hairy guys gave you your knife back. And I'm like, shut the F up.
But they stole it from me first.
Well, but I lost it. But what my mind, I can't go into that fuzzy wuzzy love thing about it. It's like, listen, I don't know who or how they did this. Whoever did it, they're either doing me a favor or they're making a statement. Do you know what I mean? It could be one of either.
What statement would it be, though? I don't.
Well, the statement is, look what we can do.
Yeah, look, we can do anything we want to do without you even knowing it.
Yeah, this possibly could have been, we could either put this in your pack or put it in your chest. Today, we put it in your pack. You never know. Like, you can come at it from all different angles if there was a message. Was it a kind thing? I don't know. Could have. I haven't a clue. I don't know who did it.
If they wanted to hurt you, they would have hurt you.
Oh, yeah, you're toast. So anyway, that's the only thing I have firsthand of them being able to make something produce out of freaking thin air, because that backpack is with me 24/7. And when I left camp that morning, I opened my pack, unzipped it, I put in some trail cameras, my lunch, my coffee thermos, I zipped it up. Maybe 3 hours later, I have that pack on my back. I take it off, put it on the ground, unzip it, and here's this knife on top of everything I put in it, and it still had dirt and shit stuck to the blade from where it was laying on the ground earlier. Anyway, so he went back in there again, looking around, and on this rock bluff, he couldn't get to it. He noticed 2 big white bones stacked like that. on a tree limb, about 14 feet in the air. He's like, what the F? And he videotaped with his phone. And then he looked down. There's two more balanced, one sticking in some rocks, and balanced 90 degrees is another bone on top. And he's like, what the hell? And then after that is when he went back in the woods, camps overnight, and he even said to them, I didn't take your bones. I didn't touch them. And they instantly said, no, we left those for you. That's what they said to him.
For what reason?
Don't know. Don't know. The simplest things. They leave things. Oh shit, I got more I can tell you on that. But there is a big history of them leaving things for human beings on their porch, in their vehicle, inside their house, on the hood of their truck, all sorts of shit. But it's simple things like woven branches into a wreath-like thing or feathers.
Yeah, but I mean, but if they go to those links to just leave such simple items, but yet they're so advanced technologically.
Yeah,
This is where I'm mixed up on this.
me too.
Because
It's
I'm like,
it doesn't
it's
make
like
sense,
primitive, but it's not primitive.
right? It's so freaking confusing. It's like,
Almost maybe like someone gave them the technology to keep them safe.
oh, there's a big reason why we are not able to acknowledge this publicly straight across the board. That's
Because
why.
they don't want to interact with us. And so it seems to me like someone gave them or something gave them that type of technology to steer clear from us, maybe because we would take them out like we take everything else out.
Well, what these beings told my friend was that we should be more scared of the bad humans than them or anything else. That's what they've said. And I've heard that relayed a few times. And they also said that he asked them if they were the same ones that scared him out of the woods earlier. And they said, no, those are bad ones.
But what what were bad ones? The other Bigfoot?
The ones that scared him out of the woods, that text.
So there's different species of Bigfoot. There's different, just like different races of people. There's different types of Bigfoot.
There could be. But what the fact is, there is allegedly, and we've heard this from mediums. He also, oh yeah, God, I got so much I've learned since the last time we talked. I got to slow myself down. I'm getting all fired up here. But anyways, allegedly, straight across the board, the people who have successfully communicated with these beings, these people, they said there are bad ones. There's good ones.
So these are legitimate messages from Bigfoot to humanity.
I wouldn't call it Bigfoot. You know what?
Okay, forest people.
This stage of the game probably refer to them as forest people or whatever. But
Forest people.
the Bigfoot term is like, and I'm not being demeaning anyway. I'm just saying, for me, it's like all the TV shows, the reality shows. Man, I went out and saw some Bigfoots.
Yeah, and the first thing you want to do is shoot them.
Well, it's using the term Bigfoot, it seems, is an easy way to make people laugh today.
Yeah. So what do you want to call them? Forest people, Sasquatch?
The First Nations people, the Ojibwe, before we even got here, they called them the Sabe. They called them the Sabe people. The coastal West Coast First Nations called them the Sasquatch, which we've turned into Sasquatch. So
where did these, kind of pivoting just for a second, where does this go with the tales of the giants, like the Kandahar giant, like the red-headed giants in the Nevada mountains that the Indians talked about? Are these part of that lineage?
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? Because I know that we've from the 1800s on, there used to be reports in the newspapers of excavation sites pulling giant bones out of the dirt. I mean, human bones. Are these part of that lineage? What are these?
I had a guy email me just yesterday, coincidentally, a man who has been to the Vatican. He's been all over the world, and he's put in 30 years of his time heavily studying this topic and the Nephilim, right? And he just emailed me yesterday. So from what he has found out, and I do have a lot of faith in this man's information that he's been emailing me for a couple of years. There is different hybrids. He says these are 100% hybrids. It does fit with the biblical tale, the Genesis 6, to the point he's even feels he's communicated one of these Nephilim. So it was very arrogant, over 7 feet tall, human hybrid. That's another top. I'm going to start babbling because I got so much.
So when you think hybrid, are they made in laboratories or are they doing it this way? You know what I mean? What are they doing? I mean, how do you even mate with a human woman? That's where I've always, that's kind of like where the jury's out with me on that.
Well, allegedly, this hybridization has been going on originating from outside of our planet.
Okay.
Allegedly. All right. I mean, obviously, this is shit that we're trying to get to the bottom of. And if you're trying to get to the bottom of it, you have to listen to everybody, no matter how outrageous it sounds, because just the fact we're alive is freaking outrageous. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's about 30 years digging into this. And what he said was originally, those giants that you just spoke of were here in North America. But he said they were annihilated from North America to the point where he says the giant in Kandahar is definitely one of the hairless giants. You got the hairless giants, and you've also got these hair covered the Watchers. He and history. He goes back through history.
So the hair giants would be the Bigfoot.
Are the Watchers? They're commonly referred to as the Watchers.
So they would be the fallen.
That or an offshoot of, but it sounds more like the hairless giants are more of that flavor, and they were here to annihilate us. But we're starting to go all over the map. We're going to sound like a couple of kooks,
Okay.
right?
Okay, yeah.
But it's not hard to sound like a kook when you're talking about this topic because there's so many different avenues in the ride, right? It's very frustrating. It's interesting, it's frustrating, it's scary, it's alarming, and I think all those factors combined is what makes it so easy for your average human to just not even acknowledge it. It's like, look, I don't even want to talk about this. This is stupid. Anyways, back to going like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, I guess, but right now, for a little bit of a summary, what I've learned since is the history. I'll forward you that email, all right? So you get up to date and you
Okay.
can understand that. And I
Okay.
have so much information from that man, it's ridiculous. And he also explained to me that the Vatican played a big role in smashing our doctor scientist who was coming forth with the DNA study publicly. The Vatican played a role in going after her.
Wow.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Dismiss
Allegedly, folks.
allegedly. Allegedly, evil home base 101. But anyway, what else? What else I was going to touch on? The Vatican coming down on that, the Nephilim. Yeah. I just
So
went
I
full
mean,
circle in my
do
head.
these Sasquatch people are they like cosmic travelers? Are they dimensional travelers? Do they come to this planet just to like hang out and roam around our forests and eat some of the fish in the creeks? I
Well,
mean,
that's a question.
we never come across any of their scat,
Oh,
right?
yes,
In the
we
forest.
do. Yeah, we do.
Come on.
Yeah, lots of it. Shit.
How big is
Big
that?
piles of it.
That's
Yeah,
like
it's just,
that's got to be like elephant shit.
yeah, I've come across it. It's bigger than a horse shit. But
Really.
yeah. No, they've
What's inside it? Like
berries,
berries and
hair from
bones?
deer, bear hair, deer hair, berries, fish bones, the whole
Bear hair.
vegetation, lots of berry seeds, the whole same shit. Yeah, bear hair.
Wow.
They eat everything. They eat the most. I had a native friend of mine near Pemberton, near Whistler, Pemberton, British Columbia. And he just said flat out, he goes, oh, they're down by the river right now, the Birkenhead River, where the salmon are spawning. And I don't know if you've ever seen, probably not, but when spawning salmon die, they start to get fungus and shit growing on the body, and then they're on the shore of the river, and they start to turn into this yellow, mungy, pudding, nasty
Yeah.
pulp, right? It's your dog will skid through it like a turd, loves it, and it's nasty. He said there was 2 adult sets of footprints and 1 young set of footprints. The young ones stayed on the side of the river, and the adults were going down out of the water, and they were picking up and taking those pulpy, nasty, mungy, rotten fish to
They
eat.
use it for something.
They don't give a shit. They'll eat anything. We had a friend of mine had a female sheep, for wool, the big sheep, around 300 pounds, 350 pounds, died. And it was all bloated up in the box of his truck, loaded up with his tractor, and asked me if I wanted to go dump it in the woods for wolves or whatever. I'm like, okay. So we went and slid it out of the truck right there in that zone in an open area where it had been logged off. And we went and checked on it 3 days later. It's gone, not dragged away, not shredded, gone. And only one piece of hide about that big was peeled off, like clean. It's almost like they went, yeah, we'll take it, took it away. And then the same thing on that same note, I got something other interesting I could share with you. Do I have it here? A few weeks ago, a guy sent in a picture to me of a face beside a stump staring at him while he was camping, caught on his
I
camera.
think you sent me that.
Yeah, so I went there. I found the spot. I found that spot, and it was only about maybe 2 kilometers away from where I dumped a 700-pound dead domestic hog over a bank down a steep like this into the trees, right? I had put a tow strap onto its back legs, reach out around a tree, put it on my drop hitch, and drive away so the truck would pull it out. There's no way a human being's gonna. It's 700 pounds.
Right.
Down the bank it goes. I was helping some First Nations people take care of baiting wolves. Anyway, get this one. We go up there 2 weeks later, it's gone. We're talking grizzly bears, wolves, black bears, eagles, and ravens, which instantly.
And they would have to drag it. You'd see remnants of it everywhere. You'd see.
Well, they don't drag. It's the only a grizzly bear could drag it away because grizzlies don't like to eat in the open. They'll get a kill and they drag it in the nearest bushes. Well, this thing was already in the bush. And also, when it hits the dirt, the very first thing to hit a kill is the raptors, eagles, and ravens. And
Right.
they make a mess. There's eagle shit everywhere. There'll be pieces of shrapnel of meat everywhere, right? And then when wolves come on a kill, they shred everything. They make a mess. When a grizzly gets it, they bury it. They bury it up and bury it and bury it and bury it. And they unbury it when they want to eat something. And there's always birds and raptors are all around a grizzly on its kill. It's always just a great big community predator fest. And it doesn't go away until the meat's gone, right? 2 weeks later, hog's gone. Not even one drop of bird shit, not a drag mark, nothing. Picked up and carried away. Gone. Moving along. About a year and a half later, a friend of mine's mountain biking up near there, posts a picture on Instagram of a wild boar hog that he thought he found in the woods, 2 kilometers away from where I dropped that hog in the woods in British Columbia.
Wow. So
Yeah,
was it that hog?
100%. So moving along. About a year before that, Sarah and I are up on top of the mountain above that, another kilometer higher. A guy sends in a screenshot of this thing in my video. I'm looking this way, and this way in these 3 trees, here's this thing. You can see his chest, his face, its neck, eyes staring at me. I didn't have a clue. Right there, screenshot it. Also, a wildlife biologist in British Columbia who coincidentally I had on my boat for an eagle study. They hired my boat. Him and his colleagues videotaped one marching down a slide in the top of Tri-Cooney Peak, which is up there. It's on YouTube. They videotaped the sucker going all the way down the valley in the snow, moving faster than anybody could normally move. And that was only 1 kilometer above me. So now moving along. That guy sends me the photograph of what he caught on his camera and didn't know that he caught it. He said he felt he was being stared at like crazy. And I think he heard some shit that night at his camp. So I had an idea. I go, I know where that is. And I told everybody in the audience, I go, I'm going to go there. When I get time, I'll head over and I'm going to go check that spot out. So Sarah and I went there. It's all deactivated, fucked up logging roads, right? Finally found it. And of course, the face isn't beside the stump. So I set up the camera and I duplicated the picture he sent me, only I went up there. What's sitting on top of that stump? A brand new polished molar from either a wolf or a coyote and 4 or 5 blue jay feathers.
Wow. It's like he's giving you presents.
Well, I can't say how it got there. I haven't a clue, but I'll tell you what, in all my
You knew
life,
you were going to go look there.
when I'm in the woods guiding, I've been in the woods for 120 days at a time straight in the Northern Rockies of BC. I've used to do over 250 days in the woods. And I'm only saying that to back up what I know about predators and kills. You find a tooth, you're going to find ribs, a vertebrae, a skull. You're going to find.
And it was polished.
And then get this one. And so I put a picture of it. I videotaped the tooth. I put it online, and I asked my audience, anybody know what this is? And I had 2 different veterinarians text me or emailed me photographs of what they use in school and at their veterinarian buildings. Sorry, I'm losing my brain's farting. And it's the molar, a canine molar, and it's the hardest one to extract without cracking. When they have
It was the whole thing.
All the roots, everything's perfect. And they said it's the molar in a canine that is the most difficult to extract without cracking it. They said it's almost impossible. And he showed me a skull as an example of what they use in school as a photo to back it up. I'm like, holy shit. So it's either from a wolf or a coyote, whatever it was. I don't know. I don't know how it got there, but I'm just saying, coincidentally, whatever. For me, I've never found one tooth from a wolf anywhere in my life, especially on a stump that I was seeking out to go look at to replicate the photograph that guy took. So that's kind of odd, right? So anyway, and then apparently they leave feathers on porches. Turkey feathers has been a common one, especially in the States. People come home with turkey feathers left on the porch, all sorts of weird shit. But that's for me, that's not really holds too much interest. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, might be you guys, it might not. I don't give a shit.
The thing that gets me the most is that they said beware of the bad people.
Right? That's
Beware of the bad people.
bad.
I mean, if you got Sasquatch telling you that, and we know who the bad people are, we talk about them all the time on my channel.
Well, also because I don't know if you heard of the Highway of Tears, British Columbia,
No.
all missing women over
Really?
years. Oh God, I think there's over 60 people, women, all went missing on this highway in northern
And
BC.
how long of a span?
Handful of years. It's easy. Just Google up Highway of Tears. You're going to get pages. And
And this is in Vancouver?
mid province, British Columbia.
Okay, so wow. Okay, are their bodies never found? Wow.
Highway of Tears. Google that one up. So
Okay.
what's been one of my questions? If I could communicate with these people, where'd the women go? I want to know where those women went. I don't give a shit about what you can do. Tell me where those missing people are going. Where's the missing people going? That's one of my number one questions. I want to know what's up because you guys are getting the blame. Anyway, people have asked, and the people that I feel, I mean, my friend over here, for me, 110%, he's communicated with these beings, not a doubt about it. But all the other people who I haven't met, who allegedly communicate, and I'm leaning towards that's fact. They said it's bad humans are responsible for the people going missing. Across the board so far, the answer's been that people are going missing from bad humans. It's your bad humans that are doing this.
That's not hard to believe. I mean,
Yeah, especially today.
what do you think? Look at all the wars we're in right now.
All the human trafficking horse shit that's going on.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So,
man, this is jarring, dude. This has really got me thinking about a lot of things.
well, one thing you can't deny is every single thing is connected. It can't not be connected. If you're here in the same oxygen, we're all here together. Everything's connected. There's no way it's not, right? So
Right.
that's why I get frustrated with people who get obsessed with Bigfoot. I'm going Bigfooting this weekend. Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Have fun.
They're already going out with that intention. They're not going to see anything.
Well, it's like, how can you become?
It's always the people that don't expect it, or like have a clear, pure intention that come across.
It's people whose brains aren't functioning smoothly. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, all right, I see a 10-foot tall hairy being. I've seen one. I've seen.
Yeah, I know you have.
So I'm not gonna go, wow, I'm gonna make some Bigfoot coffee mugs and t-shirts and form a Facebook.
Right.
Like, fuck I am. I want to know what's up. How come I don't know about this? How come my neighbors and his kids don't know about this? Why not? And then you start going. I'm not gonna.
Well, I even go further than that. Like, what about the dog man? What about these rakes that are on the farm? I mean, there's so much other stuff that's out there.
No shit. But it's such, what an amazing effort to keep this truth hidden, isn't it?
Dude, it's I love doing podcasts with you because, man, there's so much here, and it's actually all right here.
Yeah.
It's all right here. If we really did, this is where it's at, right here.
Isn't that an amazing effort when you think about it? I look at everything from as many different angles as I can, including trying to look at it from the angle of the perpetrators. And you got to give them credit. I mean, what a thing to pull off to keep this much shit unacknowledged from the people. That is one hell of a fucking effort, man.
Yeah, they're keeping all this hidden, but yet they're going to be the ones to present us with this, the disclosure in the government with aliens and all this stuff because they want to control the narrative.
Yeah, I'm just saying, only if you let them.
Only if you let them. Because this stuff's out there if people just look.
Yeah, well, that's the key. That's been, I think, the key to success of my channel, which, you know, I've never said like, subscribe, and share fucking once. If anything, I
I
tell people,
know.
fuck off. You think I do? Get the fuck out of here. I didn't ask your ass to be here anyway. I didn't. And
I know. I love your channel, dude.
yeah, but what I've done is, and I have strictly given the knowledge and the voice back to the people, and I've kicked anybody who wants to control or anybody who wants attention. I've intentionally, it's easy to see, I kick them to the curb and they don't even get their name mentioned on my channel.
That's what I love about you. I know.
Yes,
I
especially
love
the
that
government.
about you.
It's like, well, we need, and people go, I need the government to acknowledge. The government needs from you. There isn't one thing you or we need from those sons of bitches.
Right. Right.
So, and my channel is a testament to what happens when you give the people their voice. Huge shit happens, and it's huge power.
So, dude, like, if we can we set something up where I can go out and see you, and we can go hunting, go camping?
I said, pardon?
No, like, seriously, I want to get out there and like, I want to go like just get out there, bro, like just for a few days,
Well, this is what I'm thinking of doing. So,
and then we'll record it or something, put it on YouTube. That'd be fun.
well, what I'm thinking of doing, what my plan has been, and I'm getting very close to that time, which may be in the next couple of weeks. So, my friend of mine, he went back to that place again, right? And he said now he's got no fear. He said, my fear is gone. I got no fear. I'm like, really? He goes, no, not after that visit. I got no fear. And he recently took his wife in there, and they hiked in there in broad daylight, and she heard the voices. She goes, I hear voices. And they also felt and heard that vibrating hum. So anyway, like I said, I'm like, okay, well, before I go in, let's just see what else happens to my buddy at home, right? But he did say that only a few days after he spent the night, he said he heard a long stride footprint crunch coming up his gravel parking area to his cabin outside of his bedroom window, and he'd heard something take a piss for almost 2 minutes. Now for me, that's like, that's not really showing too much respect.
He's pissing on his property, dude, like a dog.
Yeah, so I'm still on the fence, but I'm leaning towards going there. I will go there. I know exactly where he is. I know exactly where the spot is, but I mean, I got shit coming up. I got a lot of trips booked up on the coast, but I will go there.
Well, let's try to make something happen, man. Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, leading to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go there, and I'll probably go sleep overnight in the woods, because I've done it all my life anyway. It's nothing new to me. I know they're out there in the woods when I'm sleeping in the woods anyway. But this time I'm going to go intentionally unarmed, and I'm going to go intentionally with no camera, because I don't need to prove shit. I need some fucking answers, right? And
That's a good idea.
I said the other day, I'm pretty
So you're going to go unarmed and no camera, no technology, nothing.
And it's going
which is the way it should be.
Well, I'm just going to put myself out there. Here I am. I don't need to sneak anything. I'm here to get some answers. If you got them, I'm open. Let's talk. Right?
Damn.
Somebody's got to do it. Then, if it goes down and it's legitimate, then I'll take you there.
Okay. Deal.
You sure you want to do that?
Well, yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah. Come on, dude. You're talking to a guy that got in the ring 50-something times.
Yeah, but you never had a 14-foot tall hairy guy bend over.
They were pretty big. They were pretty big. They were some knuckle draggers.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a crazy ride, though, right? Isn't it a crazy ride?
Yeah, dude. This is like so fascinating to me, man.
And it's not, for me, for everybody listening, I didn't ask for this shit. I did
Nah.
not. Yeah, I don't have the urge to prove anything to anybody. I don't give a flying shit. But I had this reality slapped in my face without asking for it, and I'm done with the bullshit. It's like, fuck you. Give me the answers.
Let's roll.
Give me the answers. I want to know. I don't want to know after I'm dead. I want to know now.
Yeah, now. Yeah.
Pass on this information to my neighbors, my fellow human beings in my communities, and give them a fair crack at what they may or may not possibly expose their family to when they choose their next camping destination. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
We deserve to have all the knowledge, and I don't want to die. I just have this fright of dying and going, let's just say we did get to find out everything at death. I don't want to lie there and go, oh, you bastards, you got me.
Yeah.
Yes. right? And we're not there yet. We still got a chance to get the bastards first before we die and go, oh, you fuckers, you got me.
Yep.
I could have been doing this and this and this all this lifetime. You sons of bitches. What a theft. You
And then guess what? You got to come back and do it again. It's like, no, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Right.
No, thank you.
Anyway.
Well, Steve, man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. I love your podcast. You're one of my favorite guests.
Thanks,
for sure.
man. Appreciate it.
Let's keep in touch and send me whatever you want. I don't share it with anybody.
Yeah, one, you can share the shit I'm gonna share today. I'll text you the bones that he found. So getting back to the bones, what were they? The fact that they put a bear claw in his backpack a couple days later.
You showed me that, didn't you? You showed me that picture.
Yeah, I sent you the picture of the bear claw when he found it. So what I think I might do is I almost put dollars to donuts that those bones are bear bones.
Wow.
Right?
That's just to show you the power they have.
Oh, that's nothing. But
yeah.
The simplicity of their gifts when they give people items, it's so simple. They're just simple things. To us, they're simple. You know, I'm always saying
yet the complexity of what they do. I mean, the red eyes, the invisibility, dude, to translucent dimensional travel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like if I can put it across, you put my knife.
Maybe they're allowed to have all that technology because their intentions.
They are not ruled or governed by any human being. I'll guarantee.
No, they're free. They're truly free.
But are they free? Do you know what I mean? Who is the ultimate? Who's the ultimate creator? Who's the ultimate person that stops them from popping their heads off house to house to house at 3 a.m, which they could easily.
Yeah.
Like
you're right.
What we know now, let's face it.
There's obviously rules they have to follow.
Right? Who's imposing and who's policing that? Proof.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, imagine if you felt like it, if you're one of these beings and you felt like it, you could go to any rural community and go house to house and pop the heads off of every human being. Who knows how many?
And eliminate the problem completely. Humans will never be here ever. That's it.
Well, if you just felt like for shits and giggles, you could go probably annihilate at least 20 homes worth of people in the night and disappear, and you're not going to get caught. Right? You're not. So what's stopping you from doing that?
And then I've also heard, like the Black Hawk helicopters, the military personnel show up when one of them gets out of line, right? Haven't you heard that as well?
Lots, very common.
And yeah, there is there's some kind of structure here, a hierarchy that everyone has to follow. Man, there's just so much to unpack. There's just so many questions, or just every time we get an answer, there's 30, 40 more questions I have.
Yeah. Well, I got a funny feeling that, we've answered a lot of questions here just from listening to people here. God, launched it so far ahead. And the knowledge that people didn't want us to have, we got it now. But anyways, what I'm saying is, I got a funny feeling I'm going to get the answers. My gut's screaming I'm going to get them. And I think I'm that far away.
I believe you are. I really do believe you are. I just hope that you share them with me and that you could take me up there one day.
Oh, I'm sharing. I'm scared of shit. Even if some prick came here in a black SUV and threatened me, he's staying. He's staying. You're going to fertilize my frickin' garden. Right? You don't want to piss these guys off. Oh, yeah? Anyway. All right. So, onwards with the day. What are you going to do today?
I'm done, dude. I'm going to just go off with the family and hang out, man.
Would you wake up at 3 o'clock again?
I've been waking up at 3 a lot lately, dude. I don't know what it is. Every time 3, boom, I'm up. I'm like, damn it.
I know.
I come, but that's when I get a lot of like downloads, bro. Like that's when I'm like, oh wait, hold on, like instant pop, like stuff that, because during the day I'm so bogged down with this issue, that problem, my parents, being sick, and then at 3 a.m, all of a sudden everything's just clear, and I just get like these downloads. That's the best way that I can explain it.
We got to make sure, a message I always pass on to everybody is you have to make sure, no matter what chaos is going on, you have to do what you love to do as much as you can, even if it's 10 minutes. I don't give a shit, because if you stop doing what you love to do, then you're that is what to me is a loser.
Yeah. And slavery.
When you don't do what you love to do, now you've lost. You've lost across the board. So no matter what the chaos is going on, the truth sharing, which we do, I always make sure I do. It's like a reward. X amount of days into this department, other department, and then I make sure I reward myself with what I love to do. So we can't lose.
Point. I used to do that when I was boxing. when I was boxing, I'd go into training camp, and then every time after a fight, I'd take off for a month and a half and go do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I haven't been living that way recently with all the trouble that I've had. So that's a good reminder. Steve, I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start doing more stuff for me.
Gotta. Yeah, it's a reward, right? You work.
Yeah. Yeah,
Work.
because it's just, dude, I've been doing this every day, slaving at the podcast, taking care of my parents. Oh, dude, it's been rough, dude. And I just feel like the world's just weighing me down.
I know. That's why you gotta. It's like anything else. You got to do so much, and then you have to switch gears and go do this, and then switch gears and come back.
You're right.
But you can't quit either.
No, you can rest. You can take a break. The body needs a break.
You got to make sure.
Shit, Steve. I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna go smoke my cigar for me.
Okay, let's hit stop recording, then hang out for just a quick minute.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to everybody again for sure.